All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be breaking down the top prop bets for the college football slate on Saturday in week 6. Let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, I do typically like to start off with the plus EV bets that we are getting. For PrizePicks, we are getting 3 plus EV bets. We had the kicking, 2 kicking points props here, 6.5, bet the overs here. Okay, so just pretty simple there. And then we also have a under passing touchdowns prop bet. So 3 plus EV bets right out the back. If those are still available for you guys, by all means, go ahead and place those prop bets. Then I want to start off with 2 prop bets where we're getting some pretty massive middles here. And I think they're going to be good bets on both sides. So we got Carson Henson here for, I would say, under his fantasy score of 17.5. And the thing I want to call it with this for PrizePicks, if you just add up what they are currently projecting for him, he should be in line to get the under. Now, when we take a peek at Underdog, it's going to be the exact opposite, where how they have it projected, we should be betting the over. And when we take a peek at the lines that they're giving us, guys, they have him at 13 for his fantasy score. So again, highly likely to score a touchdown. Okay, so you give him a touchdown, that's 6 points right there. Let's say he does get 1 reception, that's a half a point right there, so 6.5. And you add up his rush and receiving yards of, let's just say 8, he's already at 14 right there. Okay. And that doesn't leave any room for nuance there, with his lines. If he does end up getting to kind of his standard lines, he is going to get the over here. So this is seemingly a very solid bet. Now, we are betting on him to basically score a touchdown. It's kind of a workaround. Instead of betting on him to score a touchdown, which is a reduced payout, you just bet on him over fantasy score. But that is one of the better bets, I would say, on Underdog. But we do look at his game log. The first 2 games, really nothing much there. Second game or third game, a lot of production via the running game, and then 2 touchdowns last week. Look at the matchup with Cincinnati. This is seemingly a decent spot for ISU just in general. That actually leads me into, that'll get me into another prop bet as we get into this video with Rocco Beck as well. And then another one that we have where I wouldn't exactly call it like a middle opportunity, you could, but I do like the over here on Underdog for Caden to get over his fantasy score of 13.5 for the exact same reasons that I just laid out with the last prop bet, where if you just add up what he's projected to get via the Underdog lines, his fantasy score line is just simply too low already. Okay, they have him at 1.5 receptions, so just 1 reception. 6.5 receiving yards, don't necessarily love that, but when we tack those 2 together, that's good enough for us. Around 70 for rush yards, and then a touchdown. Okay, he's highly likely to score a touchdown. So again, if he just simply scores that touchdown, he should be able to get his over fantasy score right here. And so I did want to start out with those 2 for Underdog, a seemingly good edge for us there. And that is worth calling out, guys. If you are playing on Underdog, they are doing a Boost-tober, I guess is what they're calling it, where each day they're going to give you some sort of profit boost. Right now I see one for any sport, and then there's also a 50% profit boost on WNBA. So a way you could go about operating that is, if you want to use those, you could just run out like a 3-slip flex bet, and if you feel pretty confident that you're going to go 2 out of 3, at least you're not going to go negative there. I don't mind doing that with 4-slip bets as well. You could end up doing that. I'm not saying you have to, but it's a decent way to go about taking advantage of those like 50% profit boost bets. If you guys are interested in using that, make sure to just simply use the 95 promo code 925 spelled out, guys. That's just a simple and easy way to help out the channel. Again, if you guys are interested in using those Underdog prop bets. Now, one of the better bets that I like, guys, for Saturday is going to be Rocco Beck to get over his passing yards of 234.5. Okay, so he gets a pretty solid matchup in this one. That's part of it. And if we look at his game log, we are going to notice that he has gotten the over in 3 out of the 4 games thus far this year, which is obviously something that we like. He's averaging 230 passing yards on the season. Really just that one bad game against Iowa. Typically a matchup that isn't a higher scoring game. The game total for this game is set at 66.5, and it's a game that the Cyclones are 1.5 point dogs, so a very close game there as well. So we like that. The matchup is what we're chasing. Cincinnati has given up an average of 320.6 passing yards per game. And so I'm just betting on Rocco Beck to continue to play well, and thus I do like his over here for his passing yards. Now, another bet that I like is going to be Madsen to get over his passing yards here. Now, the thing that I don't like is that the projection data is telling us to bet the under. I don't necessarily love that, but I do just in general like the spot that he is in. Okay. The issue as well is going to be the fact that they are 21-point dogs in this game, so he might not end up playing the full game, and it is a tougher matchup as well. Okay, so he is going up against Notre Dame here. Okay, so definitely a much more difficult matchup, but Notre Dame has given up a lot of passing yards this year. Okay, they've given up 265.3 per game. Okay, we look at the average for Madsen, who's averaged 282.3 passing yards per game, has obviously gotten the over in 4 straight games. The issue is obviously what we're looking at in terms of his opponents throughout that stretch. Okay, pretty easy matchups. And again, looking at this game, they're 21-point dogs in this game. Now, it is a decently high-scoring game, 62.5 total points. Like, I don't mind that. But there are other ways that we can kind of attack this game as well, in which sorry, not this game. I mean, there kind of is, like Malachi Fields. If you look at some of the sports books, they're giving him about a 53% likelihood to get his over here. Not a bet that I hate, but also not a bet that I feel like we need to go out of our way to target. Again, I think Madsen in a good game script for him to be able to get the over, although it is, it's weird because it is a good matchup, but Notre Dame also has played more difficult opponents, kind of. So it is kind of a balancing act there, but I do think the line is just simply too low. If you bump it up 10, I would say that's probably correct for Madsen there. And then let's go ahead and get into this UCLA versus Penn State game. So UCLA, I think I saw that they're down their head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator as well, which really explains why they're so poor. This is one of the better matchups that you should be attacking on this slate. Poor defensively is what I meant. They've given up a lot of production to all the positions, specifically in the run game. And I do think that's an opportunity for us to really be placing bets. So Drew Allure here to get over his 17.5 rush yards is a bet that I like. UCLA is averaging 46.5 rushing yards given up to opposing quarterbacks thus far this season. We're going to notice that he has gotten the over in 3 out of 4 games as well. Now, obviously, the issue that we have sometimes is sacks that count against a rush yards total, which we don't love for college football. But overall, I do think he's going to be able to get the over. He does average 17.3 as well, but that's, again, including this one game where he did not get the over, which, sacks do occur, and it could be a bad sack that really ruins his over here. So there is some risk with it, as always, but I don't mind that one. Another one that I like as well is actually going to be Nicholas Singleton to get over his rush yards of 73.5. Again, this is going to be a better matchup for him as well. The matchup with UCLA, they've given up an average of 173.8 rushing yards per game thus far this season. And we do see a little bit hit or miss here in that regard. Hasn't really crushed it as well. That is concerning. If you want to go with Allen instead, you could. But I do think just given this game script where we look at Penn State, they're going to be 24.5 point favorites in this game. To me, that does lead to a more run-heavy script for just all the players in general. And this could be a game where everyone goes off as well. So I don't mind that. I do think that they all are going to be able to get theirs as well. And then another one that I'm okay with, and I said because this is a bet that I used as like the 5th bet into a PrizePicks slip, so I wanted to make it a flex slip bet. That's why I included it, and I'll show you guys that as well. Or you could run out this as an over bet at 29.5 on Underdog. So it's a seemingly decent bet. Obviously, you could just use the plus EV bets there as well. So he has gotten the over of 29.5 in 3 straight games. At 30.5, he's gotten the over 2 out of 3 games. Okay. I do think we are encouraged that he got to 30 in that game against Alabama. The backup tight end is currently questionable, though. We got to see if he's going to be active. If he ends up playing, that could hurt Lance Mason a little bit, especially in regards to his snaps. And the Badgers are pretty heavy underdogs in this game, 17.5 points. They've been pretty poor. But Michigan has given up a lot of production to opposing tight ends, an average of 57.5 per game. And Lance Mason, again, assuming that the backup tight end is going to be out, he should be able to get the targets there. He is averaging in those 3 games, the last 3 games, 59 receiving yards. So that is encouraging to me as well. Not a lock and load bet, not as good of edges as the other bets that I laid out to you guys, but also a pretty solid bet that we were getting on the slate. And then lastly, I do want to call it this bet here with Bryce Underwood, guys. He could actually end up middling this one. We're not getting enough data in just yet for his average sportsbook line, but it is a middle right now. So Underdog has it at 18.2. PrizePicks has it at 16.5. So I did want to call that out. That is in that game against Wisconsin as well. I do think he could end up middling. If you guys look at his game log, that has been something that has occurred as well, is that he has been a little bit hit or miss. So I don't mind it. I think it makes sense why both the books are in between there. I don't necessarily have a side that I want to be on this one. If you guys do, let me know in the comments section below. But I did want to call it out. That's currently one of the bigger middles that we are getting. As the day progresses, we will get more and more, though, I believe. All right, guys. So this is going to be the 4 slip bet here that we are running out on Underdog. I do like this slip a little bit more. If you guys wanted to make it a 3 slip bet, maybe do that flex idea I call it. You could take out Lance Mason here, a little bit risky again. And then these two I do really like, just highly likely to score a touchdown. That's really the bet with those two, is for them to score touchdowns, and then that ends up being pretty solid edges for us there. And then again, guys, excluding those plus EV bets, which you would attach this to make it a 6 slip bet, which I would do. Okay, I don't like including that because, again, I think those bets are going to be bumped by the time most of you guys get in here. If they're not, by all means, place those bets as always. But these are the 3 that I'm looking at here as well. Feel pretty good about all of them. Madsen, we're double dipping. Again, the matchup with Notre Dame, we are a little bit worried about. Okay, so if you don't like that matchup, that's fine. You don't have to use that bet. But that's going to do it, guys. Appreciate you being here. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you guys would like access to any of the tools that you saw throughout this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to all those tools for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. That gives you access to the college football prop betting tools, as well as the NFL tools and golf tools as well. All tools available on the website are included for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.